Hello, this will be a bit of a knife review this time. This video is going to be on the Maserin Poker pocket knife. I'd just like to give some thoughts on this knife and maybe go over some technical details on this knife. So, as I said, it's the Maserin Poker made by Maserin. I hope I'm saying that right. As I said, the model is the Poker, or at least the Poker line. These knives are made in Italy, or at least it says Italy on the blade. I'm not entirely sure if it's made in Italy. I sure as hell hope so. I'm actually not going to talk about the materials. That's not really something that interests me, and I don't really know much about knife materials. I probably should know more about them, but it's not really my interest. But if you are interested in the steel, it does say there on the blade. Oh wait, maybe it doesn't. Oh yeah, it does. 440 stainless, and there's the Rockwell hardness of 56. I honestly don't have a clue what difference the Rockwell hardness makes. Obviously, that determines how hard the steel is. I'm not entirely sure why that's important. As you can see, it's got a bit of a hawkbill blade. It is a two-handed opening knife with these studs. The studs are ambidextrous. It is a liner lock knife, and of course it does have this hole here for opening as well. I'm not 100% sure if that is designed for opening. I find that that's much more difficult to use than the studs. By the looks of it, you can remove the studs with an Allen key. I've never tried to do that. I've never really seen the point. There is some jimping on the top here. I think I paid about £25 for this knife. I can't actually remember, although it was on sale. I just got it from a local gun shop. Yes, we do have gun shops in the UK, believe it or not. The pocket clip is not changeable. It is only on one side, and it is tip down carry also. That's another one of those things where I don't really see why people obsess over it. I could kind of see it from a convenience point of view, but I don't know, it's just one of those things that don't really matter to me personally. Each to their own, I suppose. But I do quite enjoy this knife. I'd like to talk about the grip. It is pretty comfortable to hold in this position, but it's equally as comfortable to hold in a reverse grip position like this. Now, what is the purpose of this knife? Well, I've been asking myself the same question since I bought the thing. I'm not entirely sure. Now, it definitely would be good at opening packages, especially cardboard boxes with tape, due to the shape of this blade, with it being fairly pointy here at the tip. That would be very good for draw cuts. Other than that, I'm not really sure. It wouldn't be a good general purpose knife because of the shape. Honestly, I think this is kind of a self-defense knife. That's just what comes to my mind. Because of the blade shape. If anyone else could think of anything better, a better use for this knife, please let me know. I'd like to know actually. But considering how comfortable it is in a reverse grip position, to me that says it kind of lends itself for slashing, and the only time you would ever want to do that is in a self-defense situation. That's not really an option for me. It is illegal to use a knife for self-defense, or at least to own a knife for self-defense. I'm not going to get into that. There is only a liner on one side of the knife. I'm just going to assume this is G10. I don't actually know. I didn't get this knife in a box. I didn't get any paperwork with it. It just came as is, as you can see. Although this snake knot lanyard did not come with the knife, I tied it on myself with blue paracord. Now if you look inside here, inside the hole, you can see that there are some machining marks. Whether that would be a CNC machine or what that is, I'm not entirely sure, but there is some machining marks inside there. I'm not all too bothered about that, but you would have thought they would at least clean that up. It is a nice little pocket knife, it's not too heavy. I haven't carried it much. Obviously in the UK I cannot legally carry this because the blade is locking, so I haven't really carried it much. I've just had it in my pocket a few times in the house. I don't think I've actually used it for anything practical, just had it sitting in my pocket, just handling it, playing about with it. Now you can deploy the blade fairly quickly if you want. Oops. Just by flicking out the stud. There we go. Didn't have enough room to move there. It does help to flick the wrist slightly as well. By the way, this is obviously not a flick knife or anything like that. It is perfectly legal to own in the UK. Obviously, with it being a one-handed opening knife, in some countries it won't be legal. I believe this would be illegal in Denmark, for example. Obviously there are probably loads of other countries where you cannot legally carry this due to it being a locking blade. As for the blade shape, perfectly legal in the UK. I'm not sure about other countries. I have no doubt in my mind that there are some countries that do not allow this blade shape, because it mostly lends itself to a sort of a self-defense style, at least in my opinion. Feel free to disagree with that, and again, I could be wrong. I don't know the intentions behind this design, but it is one that I quite like. And I do think this knife does look a lot like a karambit. If you could just imagine it having a ring here for your finger, then it would very much be just like a karambit. Nothing at all on this side, no markings. And there's the designer there. I'm not even going to try and pronounce this guy's name. I'll probably butcher it, and I'm assuming it's Italian. But it's a good little pocket knife. It's a nice little thing to have to the collection. This just sits on my TV stand. I occasionally pick it up, open and close it, have a look at it, put it back. That's about as much use as this knife sees for me. Don't think I've actually used it to cut anything. I had attempted to sharpen it once with a sharpening steel, or was it a diamond steel? I can't remember what it was. But I decided not to because I ended up scratching the blade. It doesn't come particularly sharp, unfortunately, so it does need some sharpening. Oh, and by the way, I should also say that the blade isn't completely centered. However, that was my own fault. I did take the knife apart to try and make it UK legal to carry. That was successful, but I've since undone that. So when I bought this knife, the blade was pretty well centered. I know that's important to some people, and yeah, as much as I would like to have that blade centered, for me personally, it's not that big of an issue. Okay, so I'm gonna wrap it up at that. Please leave me a comment, a like, dislike, whatever. Thank you for watching.